Wow, so many thoughts going through my head this morning. Let me talk to you while what I call, put on my face. I like to wear makeup. One, because I enjoy painting my face. And two, it's a part of my get ready for the day routine, like get ready for the work day. When you work from home, particularly when you work for yourself, you need these markers throughout the day to remind you of the rhythms that happen and the things that happen to us when we're commuting to work. The closer we get there, the more, I don't know if the word real is right, but the more clear it is that we are going to work. And when you work for yourself, you don't have, well, I didn't say you don't. I'll speak for myself. I don't have those indicators throughout the day that my work day is about to begin. And so something that I started doing way back in 2020 when we were all working from home, most of us working from home in an unplanned fashion, if you know what I mean, was getting up, freshening up or taking a shower, getting out of PJs, getting into comfortable, casual clothing, because that's the kind of clothes I can wear to work. Brushing my teeth, washing my face, moisturizing my hair, and putting on my makeup. Grabbing my cup of coffee. Sorry, my cup of coffee. Sorry, the makeup brush was in the way. And getting ready to work. And today the work is some artwork this morning. There are some art projects that I've been thinking about and writing about and journaling about that I'm ready to start experiencing with paint and collage. So I'm getting ready to show up for art. I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Akia Selwa. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and a self-trained mixed media artist. I would say I've been a mixed media artist all my life. I just didn't know that term existed. I've had the privilege of being a psychotherapist and practice, well, officially since 2001. But I began this journey in high school. Actually, no, middle school. I began this journey in 8th grade. And I know that sounds kind of like, really, Kia? You started working as a healer in the 8th grade, 13 years old? Yes, I did. And I was intentional about it. It wasn't like a little pipe dream. I wanted to help people make better choices with their life. And I started by helping my classmates worked through the issues that they were having with their peers as a peer resolutionist. Was a peer conflict resolutionist. That was my position, and I would work alongside the school counselors in my school and meet with my fellow students and, hear what was going on with them. There were questions that I had learned to ask to help people come to a resolution about something, whether they agreed or disagreed with each other. The goal was to have a resolution. And I don't remember those meetings, but I know that I met with probably about 50 or 60 of my classmates. And I was often requested. And at that time, I really didn't have the maturity to understand why. But now, oh my goodness, 3 decades later, plus some change, I get it. I know that I was called to help in the healing process for people. And over the years, I've discerned how that happens with talking to people and spending time with people, how that happens for myself and guiding others through the art practice. I'm also learning how to do that as a home herbalist. And I'm hoping I can do that here as a YouTuber. Sharing the things that I have experienced, the things that I'm thinking about, the things that I'm wondering about, the things that I notice here. And nobody just wants to, well, I shouldn't say nobody. I know that I'm not interested in just watching some talking head. I like to see movement. I like to see something happening. So I decided that I would pair these thoughts and noticings and offerings with art. And as an example of how I use art to work through these things, just like someone might use running or cooking or folding and ironing. Sorry, usually you iron and fold your clothes. It's all, for me, it's all the same thing. I don't particularly like ironing. So I'm not going to do the ironing bit. I'll let somebody else do that. I like wrinkle wreathies. I'm going to keep it simple today with the eye makeup. That's one of my favorite things to wear is the eye makeup. So much fun. But today I'm just going to do a nice little shimmery copper color on my eyes. Now it's time to draw on the eyebrows because y'all know I don't have any eyebrows. I don't know. The older I get, the further they run from me. So I have a great fun deciding what kind of eyebrows I'm gonna have today. I tend to lean towards a thin brow like we see in the I think it was 50s or 60s, and I think it's 60s and 70s. I tend to go for a more thin brow. Makes my eyes look a little bigger. And when you're drawing on your brows, I don't know, I find the thinner it is, the easier it is for me to line it up so I don't look like I have a perpetual expression of surprise on my face all day long because my eyebrows are looking funky. For me, this is like the most important part, and I like to take my time drawing them. I remember there was a staff member that I had who, well, I'll just say it this way, sometimes was putting on her makeup at work, and I learned something from her aside what I didn't want her doing at work, was showing up half-made, but I understood her situation. But she would say to me, your eyebrows are not twins, they're sisters. So, no, they don't have to look the same, but somewhat the same. Just like if you met my sister, you would discern something familiar about her and me, but we don't actually look very much the same. But there are other aspects about us that are very the same, very familiar, that in each other's presence you would notice some similarity, a lot of similarity, because we grew up in the same household and we're only 2 years apart, so we're pretty much in the same generation. All right, makeup all done. Simple today, simple lip, simple eyes, just looking fresh and colorful. All right, I'm gonna head over to one of my workstations today to talk to you a little bit more about something else. All right, see you in a bit.